Hello, folks. The joy of the Lord is our strength. And if something is said that you like and helps you, please give a thumbs up that we might help someone else down the line. And if you feel led, subscribe. If not, pray for me. All right, let's begin this lesson. There's no title on this lesson. You can come up with your own if you want. But we're going to begin in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. But there were false prophets among the people, that's the children of Israel, even as there shall be false teachers among you, that's us. So there's false teachers because it says so in the word, who privately bring forth damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnations slumber not. So we see that it prophesies there's going to be false teachers among us. So we got to realize that there are false teachers. Now, this lesson here will help us distinguish false from truth. Always the Word of God will help you, give you that discerning ability to know false from truth. Because in Him is the truth and the way and the life. And it says that and many shall follow their pernicious ways. Many shall follow them. See, they'll bring in damnable heresies. These are heresies that are damnable. That means they will send you to hell. Damnable heresies. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. So we can see that we need to be very, very careful of false teachers. In the New Testament, there's over 50 times that the word deceive or deceivable is used. Jesus, when at his beginning his dissertation in Matthew 24, the first thing out of his mouth is, "Be not deceived." There is danger here, folks. Danger that you should have it lit up in front of you all day long. There's damnable heresies. So let's go to Jude 12. Jude only has one chapter. Jude 12. Who are these false prophets? Well, they're spots in your feast of charity. When they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear, clouds they are without water, carried about by winds, trees whose fruit withers, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots. So we can see that they're in among us. They're spots in the feast of charity, our love feast, our gathering. They're to the left, to the right of us, to the front, to the back of us. They are with us. Then they feed themselves without fear. They're clouds without water. They look like us, but they are dead. They have no living water in them. They look like they have gifts, but they have no water in them. They're trees whose fruit withereth. They never produce lasting fruit. Their fruit is not something consumable. It will not last. It will not help you grow. And they're twice dead. See, they were born again. They were made alive, but they died again. Remember the verse in Corinthians that Paul says, I was alive once unto God, but sin revived and I died. That's him dying to sin, being born again. Now, these folks are twice dead. So they've been led astray by the adversary somewhere down the line. They were born again. They know some things. They're false prophets. John 10:1, to continue our look at these folks, the false prophets. John 10:1 says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that enters not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. Now, I want you to notice that these folks are coming into the sheepfold. They're coming into the gathering of believers by another way. They're not coming in by the way. They're coming in by their own way. They're lovers of self. They're dangerous people. They bring damnable heresies with them. And that word deceived, if you want a definition of a deceived, which would be how to look at a deceiver, they are there to mislead the mind. They're going to plant seeds in you. Now, they can plant seeds in you on the way in, they can plant seeds on the way out, or they can plant seeds while you're seated. They can plant seeds while you sing. They can plant seeds while you pray. They are there to mislead the mind, to cause to err. This is still the definition of deceit. They cause to err. They cause to believe what is false. They'll make you believe what is false. Always a little truth in with the deception. There's always a little leaven in the truth, a little deception. And a little leaven leavens a whole lump. Or disbelieve, they'll make you disbelieve what is true. They'll dilute the word or water it down. They'll not bring the word to you in all its strength. They will water it down to itch your ears, to let you hear something that your flesh wants to hear. Now let's look at 2 Samuel 15:6. This is Absalom. This is David's first son, Absalom. And what is Absalom doing? Well, he's sitting in the gate. People coming in, people going out. He's sitting in the gate of the palace. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. See, these people could be family, just like Absalom is David's son. These could be children of someone in authority. They could be elders. They could be members of the church. And what they're doing, what Absalom is doing, is, oh, you come to see David? Well, David's really a busy man. What's your problem? Oh, I see what your problem is. Well, let me tell you this and let me help you with it. And so he was setting himself in the seat of David. Therefore, he stole the hearts of men and they began to follow him. Hello, church splits. Do you see it? Deceivers, false prophets, bringing damnable heresies, tickle, scratching the ears. These are deceivers. Be not deceived. Now let's go to number 5. I got a couple references up here on 2 Samuel 15:6. One reference is Matthew 13:24-30. That deals with the wheat and the tares. Remember, the good farmer planted good seed, but the adversary came and planted tares, and the servant asked the farmer, "Do you want me to pull the weeds out of the garden?" And the farmer said, "No, leave them there because they look so much alike, and I'm afraid you'll pull up some of the wheat with the tares." So they look just like us. They can sound just like us, but they are not like us. Then the other reference is Matthew 25, 1 to 13. These are the 12 virgins. They all had the lamps. They all were lit at one time, but some of them ran out of oil. And they were surprised when they knocked on the door. And the guy on the other side of the door said, "Who is it?" And they told him, and he said, "I don't know you." Well, they thought he did. They thought he knew them. They were at his wedding. They were waiting on the bridegroom to come. But yet the door was closed, and when they knocked, he said, "I don't know you." They were deceived. They had damnable heresies. They were left behind. They listened to a false prophet. They listened to a false teacher. You need to be able to discern right from wrong, and you can only do that by reading the Bible. Bible. The Bible. Now, there's been a lot of changes in the Bible. They've changed a lot of words. They've left out words. They've left out verses. You need to read the one that is not copyrighted. And I'll leave it at that. So let's look at number 5, Matthew 22:12. And he, this is representing Jesus, the he, said to him, "Friend, how came you in here not having a wedding garment?" And he, the friend, was speechless. He thought he belonged there. He was surprised that he wasn't dressed properly, that he didn't have on the garment of praise, that he didn't have on the proper attire. He was speechless. There was nothing he could say. And my suggestion to you is that you read the 2 verses that follow that. That's a strong suggestion. See, he was deceived. He thought he belonged. False prophets and deceivers. Let's look at John 10:10 through 14. The thief comes not but to steal, to kill, and destroy. Well, wait a minute. Who's the thief? Well, it says in John 10:1, "Verily I say unto you, he that enters not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbs up some other way," this is number 3, John 10:1, "that climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber." This thief and robber is not the devil, folks. It's the children of the devil. John 10:1 says, if you come up by some other way other than through the door, who is Christ, you're the same as a thief and a robber. And the thief come not but to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus says, "I am come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly." Now, that's so wonderful. See, but when we hear that verse, "I am come that you might have life and life more abundantly," we think of cars and houses and airplane and a fat checking account that never runs dry. That's what we think about. But he's the good shepherd. And he's the good shepherd of the people over in Africa. And their superabundant life might be a loaf of bread or fresh water or a place to live, or a roof over their head, or not be cast out of their country, or not be under some kind of revolt. He's the same God over there as he is here. Why would we think stuff? Why would when Jesus says, I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly, we think that life is stuff? And we've done that to ourselves, especially through the 80s. We've done that. We've pumped money into men that they might look like they're closer to God. We think that stuff is what we see that makes us closer to God. We think stuff is what we have that makes us closer to God. But it's not stuff, folks. He said, I come that you might have life. That word life is Zoe, not stuff. That's the life of God. It's Zoe. It's not stuff. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. Back to John 10 through 14. I am the good shepherd. And the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, sees the wolf comes and leaves the sheep and flees. The wolf catches them, scatters the sheep, and the hireling flees because he's a hireling. And he don't care about us. He cares about money. He's a hireling. He's been hired. He's being paid. And once the sheep is scattered, the money stops. And the wolf catches them and he scatters them. And that word scattered is sting like a scorpion. He inserts poison in us. It's poison. And it says that life is in the blood. But he poisons the life. False prophets, false teachers, erroneous things going on. Abundance is life, not stuff. Abundance is not a full checkbook. It's not a Porsche. It's not 6 Lear jets. It's not a mansion that you never enter half of the rooms. It's the life of God. John, number 7, John, the first chapter of John, 4-5, just to put a lid on this kettle, says in him, that's Jesus, was life. He had the Zoe of God in him. And that's what he gives us, is the Zoe of God. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. It shows you where to go. It's a light. It's not stuff. It's the Holy Ghost. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. The world don't understand what we're all about. And it shouldn't understand what we're all about. If it understands what you're about, then there's something wrong with what you're about. And you better be about the Father's business. And number 8, the last one, I'll show you life and life more abundantly. I'll show you what you should have the abundance of. Galatians 5:22-26. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, goodness, gentleness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ has crucified the flesh with the affections and the lust thereof. If we live in the Spirit, we shall also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, which we think that's abundance, that he come that we might have life and have it more abundantly. We think vainglory is part of that abundance. That if people aren't flocking to hear us talk, if they're not flocking to hear what we got to say and applauding and cheering and jumping up and down, it isn't about us, folks. It's about Christ. We didn't die for each other. He died for us while we were yet sinners. He doesn't love us any more or any less now that we're born again than he loved us while we were yet sinners. He died for us while we were sinners. See, we need to quit judging the sin and putting them in proportion. Oh, this sin is worse than that sin. He didn't do that. He died for all sinners. And he doesn't love us any more than he loves the sinners. But the fruit of the Spirit is love. If we live in the Spirit and walk in the Spirit, let us be not desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. So watch false prophets, watch teachers. Are they tickling your ears? Are they trying to get you to achieve the same thing that people in the world are achieving? You know, do you want to become a billionaire so that you can have that vainglory? People wanting to hear what you got to say because you got money? Folks, there are false prophets and false teachers among us, but the joy of the Lord is our strength, and that's a fruit of the Spirit. Thanks, folks. See you next time.